That's me out of gear anyway. Run out of render, whatever you want to call it. It's done that side and the back. Just need to do that side and the top now. So off to dig some more sand. I'll just show you what's going on, where we're up to at the minute. So just that side's done. I'm just tamping it down. That's what it's called when you poke it down. Tamping it. That's one of the words. Anyway, that'll be filled up to there. And this did say when I cut out the top of that, then it'll have an inch and a half or something. 50 centimeters, I know that is anyway. 50 centimeters, 5 centimeters depth, and then with a little trivet over the top of that, a bit of grill. That'd be just right for the pan. And then, I mean, it's not going to have any thermal mass that unless I can put something right, because the front's flush, so I could have something insulated that went right over that once I cut that out there to stop any heat coming that way. But it's going to have loads of thermal mass at the back. It'd be nice to sit around. That's what I was thinking of an evening. Once the fire goes out, that should all be nice and warm. But if I find I can easily insulate the front, I've got some rock wool which is non-combustible, and make something for the front there, and it could be an oven then. It'd be like a tandoor. Once it gets really hot, we could put stuff down in there. Anyway, the sun's going down, as you can probably see now. It's just about to dip down over the hill. Chickens are just taking that bit of tin down there. That's made a difference. And one of the old chickens, she's got a poorly foot, she's up there on a jumper on the deck chair in the sun. The rest of them are having a scratch about before dusk. Right, let's go and dig this up anyway and get this finished. Okay, it's the next day. One thing I forgot yesterday, excuse me, Bob Fleming. One thing I forgot yesterday, I don't know if you can still see there's snow on the ground in places. In the sun, thermometer's on the side of the cabin there, and it's about 5 degrees, but it was sub-zero last night. And yesterday when I was filming, I forgot that, when I've been watching people filming in Siberia and stuff, and they're saying the camera battery just goes down straight away. Anyway, it was dark, that's what I'm saying, by the time the camera recharged. So the big reveal covered up, and I realised that you couldn't see my head when I was here yesterday unless I was there. So I suppose I'm doing the cooking videos as long as I'm down here and needing to speak up as well without editing the sound, which I'm going to probably do rather than wear one of these microphones. I've tried them before. Yeah, let me know if you've tried them before. I always find they get feedback, and then you've got to have some pro editing software to separate the sound. I'm not that tech. What I am is hands-on. So yeah, I'm saying stay tuned if you want to see a professional outdoor chef foraging, fishing and cooking, and loads of other stuff we'll be doing, all the usual things. Let's have a look. So kept it covered up. If you're doing cement work, you really don't want the frost getting to it. I mean, could have waited for a warmer time, but like I said, I want this set and functionable before I have to start cooking on it. So where did I get up to yesterday? I can't remember what I showed you. Let me take you with me a minute and show you. Let's get the right side of the sun. So the front's the same, you've seen that. The cans are still exposed, I haven't covered them over yet. I may, was thinking last night, end up bringing that formwork forward an inch, shuttering off at the sides and covering that so it's completely surrounded with cement or render or whatever. It's not concrete, but it's a little bit similar. I don't know what it is. Surround, you know, covering the whole tin. What I'm going to do then is just cut from about there to about there, so you can get some reasonable size sticks in. And then what I'll do is I'll cut that out to about there and there, and then put a little hinge down there so it flaps down that way. You don't want them opening that way because there's a real faff then. You have to end up having some way of securing them when you're cooking. But it's handy if they come down like that, and if you can make it so it comes down and goes flat, it gives you a bit of a shelf as well bit of a shelf to feed longer sticks into. But it's primarily just for fast. It's going to a bit like an incinerator once I've cut this top out. It's for fast cooking. I don't want to be doing loads of 3-hour videos, slow cooking stuff, but yeah, fast cooking, and then should end up being really hot in there once the charcoal, the woods, because I'm going to be using wood from the woodland where I am to cook with, and once the wood's cooked down, will be maybe, you know, it's a chance when the fire's going and flames are up to cook your rice and everything else, and you can just leave it on the side of the fire to rest and steam while you then get your skewers down there or your fish on the top or squirrel or whatever it may be. But anyway, yeah, I encased it all the way around the side. I just showed you that yesterday. You've seen that, didn't you, already, about the chicken wire going around. The other good thing about chicken wire is it gives a real good strength in, and if you get any cracks or bits in your render and that, it stops them falling off. We may get a few cracks in there because we haven't got lime. Secret is, like I said, use nearly all lime and sand if you want stuff not to crack under heat. But there we go, we used what we had, and you can see that's just tile batten 50 centimetre by 25. So once that's out, that'll be the edge. I'll take it out in a second. It just needs 24 hours to set, and then we give it like a week before we even put any stress on it at all. And so we may cover the sizing, but that'll give me a nice lip there. Put a grill across there. As long as the pan doesn't cover all of that area, flames will still come up. But yeah, we can have a lid on there. I don't know, maybe just drop some skewers down or something. Anyway, options. Right, anyway, let's put you back on the tripod and take it off and see what it's like. Okay, you have to bear with me, sorry, I'm just, even though I'm going to go and pick up a sports action camera today, so I can use it down the beach, especially when I'm fishing, or even doing cooking like this. When you're doing cooking, you've got messy hands, keep putting the phone on and off. I'm going to get a sports action camera. It's got a little remote control on a watch strap, and also gives me another camera as well. Hopefully it's going to work. It's not the GoPro, it's some sort of copy of one, but I've got the image stabilization. Anyway, we'll see it. I'm going to go and pick it up hopefully later, but I'm just trying to learn. You're on the water butt at the moment where you're watching me from, so I'm just trying to get some bits of practice angles. So I framed it up with what you can see up there is the corner of my door on the cabin, so I can get the same sort of frame shots. It's all learning. It's not just about making content and slapping it up on social media, as anyone who does content creating, even just doing posts, knows. But personally, I'm dyslexic, and one thing that's allowed me to go forward really quickly with this journey now, because I don't do that much videoing, as you probably know, especially on this channel. It's quite a new channel. I've only started this for show you what I've sort of got up to in the last well, maybe 15 years I've been here, but definitely over the last 6 years since the cabin's been there. And I've basically tried to make this sort of area of land a 4-acre sort of self-sufficient model, and there's loads of stuff that I've done, everything from, I say, all low impact dwelling. It's just called Living the Dream. If you want to know what a channel's called, Living the Dream. The cat's called Tom. It's just everyone I used to describe to him what I was doing. It's always like living the dream. But for the last 5 years, it's just been building an infrastructure constantly. Stock fencing, running fencing, clearing. I mean, yeah, imagine starting off with not a jungle, because we don't want to clear a jungle, but last 5 years has just been non-stop. So this year, it's all done. I'm gonna make this look like a lovely film set, tidy up all the stuff from there. And yeah, I need to be at home most of the time, so that's what I'm saying. So rather than like spend all day cooking on the beach and stuff, if I do go out, you've seen the chickens, they need to come out. I don't want to leave them shut in their pen all the time away from the fox. And I need to be here basically cooking, and this is hopefully going to work. Anyway, waffling on. Anyway, let's do the reveal. So let's take it apart. What I've got to do is obviously you can hear me now. What I've got to do is cut that out. I've noticed that a little small handheld angle grinder, should we call it, or disc cutter, tiny little one, probably as ones you've seen them. It was a Lidl's Parkside one. The charger's broken, the battery's flat, so I'll get the big one out. Got a big Bosch cordless angle grinder. It's really easy. You can do it with a knife actually, or even a pair of scissors. It's so thin, that tin. It's called tinkering when you work with tin and metal, when you bend it and stuff. I love it. Sorry, Bob Fleming. Right, anyway. Hopefully we won't have any major cracks or falls like we had when it tied in. But if I had of tied those cans in like you should tie in brickwork, I was really impressed with them. Obviously, I said I've seen people doing earth-ship builds and stuff with them before. But besides the tin burning out on the inside, which when you haven't got them covered, I've used these tins loads of times, you get about 15 good fires out of them before they start to burn out, especially if you get the rust. But insulated like this, I'm hoping they'll last for a lot longer. But as long as, I mean, at the moment I should be able to lift, that tin should just either come up, which it may not slide out that easily because of some side pressure, but should, you know what I mean, in theory you should be able to pull it out this way or pull it up. So that's replaceable. That was just sacrificial. The rest of the stonework and the masonry should last. Masonry, the pug and cement, whatever, render, blah blah blah, what should we call it, gear, should last forever, and get a good few years use out of it. Anyway, let's hope it don't fall apart. Where's that last screw? Is there one up there? And I've said it before and I'll say it again, and I'll try and put the link down below. But please do like, share and subscribe, and then you get the notifications, because I'm going to, besides doing on the other channel, doing a weekly episode of foraging, fishing, cooking and all the other associated stuff that I do with bushcraft and survival. I'm going to try and do one every week on this channel as well, just even if it's just about what vegetables I'm sowing, what beer I'm making, or what cider I'm making, when if I'm doing any grafting the apple trees, pruning the apple trees, the veg garden, the solar, everything, loads. Just think of it as the modern guide to self-sufficiency, but low impact, not multi-million pound middle class, oh yeah, we live off grid, and just spent millions of pounds and just had glass flown in from Germany because it's eco. It's ridiculous. It's all about using local resource, keeping it really small and simple. And they're like mansions, they're just eco mansions. They're ridiculous. There you go, I've said it. Anyways, let's not get political, keep it real. Anyway, sorry, let's get it undone. Couple more screws. Let's hope so. Anyway, we're in the wrong place there. What you don't want to do is bury all your screws really deep into your formwork, because you can't get them out, especially in plywood and chipboard. Just in the wrong place there. Right, how many more? Right, that's all free moving. That's all free moving. And what I have got is a really nice laminated oak chopping board, or a piece. It's probably just a piece of sideboard, a kitchen board, just there. I don't know if you can see that on the corner there. And one thing I can do is I was thinking I might just put the chopping board so it comes out on hinges and rests on sort of on legs at the back of there. So I've got like a table behind there. I could use that as a chopping board. Then I can be either side then, couldn't I? And then it can fold down if I need to get behind it. That'd probably work and keep it out of the way. And we can just have some chairs either side. I've got some pallets left soon. I was going to make some like benches, but I don't think it needs it. Might mess with the feng shui. That's what I've been trying to concentrate on, is the feng shui, the way it looks. It's all relevant, you know. There's a reason people do it. You've got to feel comfortable. The energy's got to be right. You know, there we go. Got a bit of gear left on the side of there. Oh, so it's ended up, well, I didn't have those really shut right up against the cans. It's ended up coming around the sides quite a lot, a bit squashing around, which means that I should have forced it down properly. A little bit worried about this edge here, there might be a bit lacking, but we can always fill it in. That's what I said, as long as you work on it every 24 hours, and unless it's in the middle of the summer, then it'll dry out a lot quicker. But while it's still, it wants to be firm, but while it's still moist, if you want to put more onto it, it bonds better. But the top there is okay. That was just stone and a little bit on the top of it, and I could probably brush that off in a bit and reveal a little bit of the stone, make it look fancy, which is what you do when you're doing face work with stone. You wait till it's gone off a little bit, then point it and brush it back. Right, just give a little tiny taps. You want to be like breaking anything, and always like, instead of like pulling it away, I don't know if I say, pulling the wood away from it in case it's stuck, just like tap it down a little bit. But we just use, that's just stuck a little bit there, so we just tap in. Tapping, 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 don't break please. So I'm tapping the formwork down onto the barrel, not against the pug like so. Hopefully. He's sticking there for some. I suppose what's happened with that, the wood was dry and the moisture has gone into the wood and that's expanded. That's a tight joint. But hopefully, where this plywood's dry, it shouldn't stick to it because the moisture would have been sucked just out and allowed that to dry. Hopefully it come off. Don't put any what they call waterproofing agents or improvers in your cement, because that, if you don't clean your tools off, as anyone knows, you'll never get that off your tools and that will stick to this. So if you're using lime and sand, just lime and sand anyway, it's a lot better. I don't know why that's oh, that's really tight in there, that's why. But that's beautiful. I'll show you in a minute, I'll bring you in a minute and show you. Let's just get this last bit off. So this bit should just, you shouldn't need to unscrew it by rights. End up making me a table, won't it, or some shelves. Trouble is with this stuff, it will absorb moist, loads of water. It gets really, if you put it out in the wet. We oil it with engine oil, and all the cabin and all the feather edge pine along the edge of the eco pod. That's just engine oil, old engine oil mixed down with old petrol, about 50-50. It's free, sustainable. You don't have to worry about buying different products, and unless you want different colours, but don't put too much on. It goes a lovely sort of faded out wood colour within black sort of wood colour, but I think I like the black anyway. And it's sustainable. It's sort of about pragmatically sustainable. It's not eco if you haven't thought about it like that, you know. And people go, oh, engine oil, it's free. They have to. It's a nightmare to get rid of, you know. It's free. Mix it down, just fill it down with a little bit of petrol. Boom, as they say. Boom, lads. Don't touch, as Spaniard says. Don't touch. Right. I think what I'm going to do is not be a hero and take it off in one go. We'll just take the sides off. Sorry, this is a long-winded video, but I'm saying this is a bit of a test one for me. Maybe it's not long-winded if you're really interested and you want to know the processes. Sorry about all the waffling. I'm sorry about turning away from the camera or the microphone. That's the only thing I ain't got a microphone. I've got to remember to try and speak to the camera. But when we're outdoors, we're down the beach with this new GoPro, fake GoPro, whatever. If GoPro watching, get on board with me now before I become an internet famous sensation and someone else wants to provide me with a camera. But yeah, you may end up having to get an exterior microphone. Or doing voiceovers, can do voiceovers. Right, one more. One. Right. Oh, getting a bit unconfident now because it seems to be sticking too well. Right. Unless I've just forgotten a screw. Right. Oh no, there's the back off. Luckily, a couple of holes in the back there, not too many. I'll show you in a second, I'll take you around there. Right. Perfect. You see there's not that much left on there. Give that a little scrape in a minute and clean off, and that's easily reusable for something else. And what I done yesterday is I based in a little bit of pointing. I basically just cut off, chamfered off the edge. I'll come and show you in a second. Just hopefully stop this happening, which has happened on this side, and you've got the ridge stuck to it. But anyway, if we get that back now, we'll keep any of that gear because still workable for pointing, and we can just use that for filling in any holes, which there's a few at the back I'll show you. But oh, there's one down there. I was stuffing it down. Back's not too bad. A couple of gaps down there. But if you're not a plasterer, it's a lot easier to use formwork and ram stuff down. I mean, I can use a stick. I've done so much plastering, so I use a little bit of stick and mix up a bit more, and it's easy now to fill those holes in. Okay, and then we'll fill those in. I'll show you now. And then once it's set a little bit more, we'll get a sponge over it or an old brush. Oh, seagulls. It's nice to hear seagulls in the background. Only 8 miles from, or a stone's throw from the coast, as we say. But yeah, it's easy to fill those in now, rub them in. I'll show you. We get a chickens have just started laying. Why is so much disturbance? It's because the chickens, I hatched 6, but they've only just come to point to lay, and must freak them out. First time an egg. They lay an egg, shall we say, to keep it without going into too much detail, without me saying the arse word, because obviously not their arse, is it? There you go, said it. But yeah, it freaks them out, and they quite often, even when they're a year or two, they've laid loads of eggs, they still make a bit of a noise when they've laid an egg, which is quite nice because you know they've laid. But the cockerel thinks they're being murdered at the moment. That's why he's kicking off. But anyway, let me show you. So there's a couple of holes there, not too much. It's pretty good, and there's just a few around the back. Couple, but really easy to fill in now. You don't need to be a plasterer now to fill those in. And there was just one down there, but besides the disturbance, it's looking quite good. I quite like that. I say what I might do is bring some formwork out off this and over to there and cover that in. It still stick to it with this dry. And the other thing is, you're adding on to stuff. I won't do it now because I might leave it at that. Key it up so you scratch it, and that gives the next layer of render or whatever a good key. But I've got the stone all the way up there. It may be okay like this. I think if I can leave it like this, I will. Anyway, there we are. Stay tuned. Be fired up soon. Well, I got to cut the hole in the front yet anyway, haven't I? Get the new angle grinder out, but that's simple. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed watching that. Like we say, please, if you have, like, subscribe and share. Living the dream.